$284 games over 157 days, and the 285th game is 950 miles from where we started it all. It is a Moss Super Friday as we await who gets to grab the Lombardi in New Orleans. And there's a ton of stuff going on in the sports world. Boys, it's been a couple of weeks. I didn't miss your ugly faces, but I missed your dulcet tones. Vegas Mac, how are you, big guy?
What's going on, man? I'll tell you, it was a fun couple of weeks. It was nice to kind of get away from a little bit of football. There was so much going on. And, man, I can't wait to unpack a whole bunch of stuff for you guys. I'm so excited.
Vegas Mac is still in the grieving process because his pick at the Royal Rumble, John Cena, was oh so close, but he couldn't see being number one. TJ, what's up, my brother?
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Thank you, Marshawn Lynch. From the back of a press conference room, Raiders. And I'm going to start right there, guys, because there's a lot going on in the NFL. Obviously, we know the big game down in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, for the Lombardi Trophy, a rematch from a couple of years ago that was right here in Arizona. But a lot of stuff has happened, and the Raiders hired Pete Carroll. And to quote you, Tej, this is what happens when you go cheap at premium positions. They didn't go cheap on Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll brought some friends over to the Raider Nation. How are you feeling as a long-suffering Raider fan?
Well, so it was difficult not to be excited by the presser. He said all the right things, but we've been through that. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th time since they moved to Vegas 5 years ago that we've gone through this. So I'm done with the talking. I need to see results. And I think the nation feels that way as well. Like they're excited. They were excited for a day, and now it's like, okay, who are you getting now? Who's coming with you? Are you getting Russ? Are you getting Justin Fields? What are you doing next?
Yeah, well, you save your thoughts for a minute there, but we talked about this and we went through all the coaching possibilities and this, that, and the other thing. And one guy we never talked about in Vegas was Pete Carroll. So you see the news when it pops up, however you saw it first on your phone, instant thought there. Like yes, they've got a lot of work to do, but from all the guys they've cycled through that head coaching position, I'm not a Raider fan. In fact, like where I grew up, I'm the anti-Raider fan, if you will, but I was jacked for the Raiders because that whole organization, that whole operation, everything about it, I would slap a silver coat of paint, if you could, by aviation laws or whatever the hell in Vegas, on top of the Death Star just to go, hey, we actually got a guy that knows how to change culture. And more than anything, that's what we need.
Well, you got somebody who's got winning pedigree, like it's the leading winner, the highest most amount of wins for Seattle. It's easy for me to freaking say today. But the guy's a winner. Other than that stint early on in his career, he's a winner. He went to SC, he's a winner. He went to the Seahawks, he's a winner. So and I don't really like. I was kind of confused about how he was kind of pushed aside there at the end, but it was a big signing. It adds instant credibility. I think you see what the impact of Tom Brady is on this organization already. But I mean, it's February 7th. I mean, we got a long way to go till just OTAs, and we got a long way to go till summer workouts. Let's see what happens then. I know that Crosby is jacked about it. There's really good. Marshawn's jacked about it, so that's really good. But let's see what happens in May. Let's see what happens in July.
Mike, my initial thoughts, and TJ, my thoughts right off the bat were this. You're hiring, again, a winning coach. And I'm just going to bring up the age for what this fact. This is not a coach that you're going to have that's going to be around for a rebuild. He's not there for a rebuild. He's there to win now. And I think that's the only thing about the age that I'm going to bring up. He's a great coach. This is an organization that I feel needs to win now. That you don't hire Pete Carroll for a rebuild and then hire somebody else. You hire him because you want to win now.
Well, and look, it's very frustrating right now. We knew we knew this was going to happen with the move, but it's very frustrating to watch on television your home stadium have 40,000 other fans in it. And the team has done this to themselves because they have not been competitive, save for the 21 season. This is what you deserve. This is what you get. And so you're right. This team has to win now. It's a non-negotiable. They have to win now. Next year, it's playoffs. Like, it has to be. It just has to be. So that's a tall order for a team that has gone through quarterbacks and coaches like I go through freaking beers on a Friday night. So we'll see what happens. But I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you should be. And, when we look at the rest of the coaching landscape, Kellen Moore sounds like he's going to be the guy in New Orleans. And we know Ben Johnson left Detroit, and a lot of people are leaving Detroit in following there. And what does this do to the Lions? Now, great teams, when you climb that ladder and you start winning games and you get successful, you have a coaching tree. Aaron Glenn is in New York with the Jets, and Ben Johnson's in Chicago with the Bears, and everybody's taken whoever they've gotten to, unless you're Liam Cohen and that whole situation we'll get to in a second here. But Mac, when you look at the Lions in this, we knew they were going to lose both coordinators. We thought it was going to be last year. They lost both coordinators now, and it's kind of been a scramble for them to replace those guys, which they have. But what do we make of the Lions situation here? Because those were two big losses.
My comparison obviously is going to be the New England Patriots. When they had their success, they were losing coordinators every year, but they were still successful. But I think here's the one big difference. The Patriots had Tom Brady, and the Lions don't have that. I mean, the Patriots had wins. They had Tom Brady. They had, it didn't matter if they could bring in a Randy Moss, they could bring in a running back, whatever the case may be. The Lions still haven't climbed the hill. They haven't got to the top of the mountain yet. And so I think that's going to be a bigger issue for the Lions because, let's just be honest, they haven't got to where the Patriots were, and that was winning those championships. Yeah, the Patriots were losing coaches, but they still have, some of the top players to go with it. Not that the Lions don't have the top players, but they haven't won that championship yet.
No, not yet. And this is the thing that all great teams, TJ, we've seen this a million times. All great teams go through this. Look who's back in San Francisco now, Robert Saleh. He was the name, and then D'Amico Ryans was the name. D'Amico Ryans got his job, solid situation, and again, we can go through those numbers, and we got plenty of time to do that, but he's back home. So these great teams, the only team that we've seen really do this where a bunch of their coordinators were hired to be head coaches that all failed was the Patriots. So we're seeing more examples of this, but like when you get good, this is part of the process.
Yep.
Oh yeah, 100%. And teams have to plan accordingly. That's part of what they have to do. And I think we've talked about this before. Some coaches are really good head coaches because they can be organized, or they can run a room, or they can run a staff, and that's great. And some coaches are great coordinators, and that's fine. Like Josh McDaniels, he's a great coordinator. He's a crap head coach. And that's
Dennis
okay.
Allen, who's with Ben Johnson in Chicago.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's okay. Antonio Pierce was a good defensive coach, not such a great head coach. So it's okay if that happens. But yes, teams need to plan ahead and have contingency plans. And I really hope the Lions have one. And I hope it works out for them, because that team is, man, I thought they were that close last year. I really did.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to be that close again going forward. And we'll just see how adjustments of coaching staffs work. So we've gotten to this point, guys. And at the beginning of the playoffs, all of us probably had that some kind of inkling that, hey, yeah, Eagles and Chiefs again. But I really don't want it to be. And you guys, with your preseason predictions, mine were not even in the playoffs. And then I readjusted, and my Super Bowl pick got bounced right away. So clearly I know nothing about nothing. But when we got to this point and we started the playoffs, yes, we didn't want to see Eagles Chiefs again. But Mac, I'll start with you here. We all knew the reality that these were the two best teams. We just didn't want to think that that was what we were going to get.
But that's really what we want. I mean, let's just be honest. We don't want it because we're not fans of those teams, or for some reason, there's the whole Kansas City thing, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But listen, the bottom line is, I mean, when you have a championship game, and we talked about this in the college part, I mean, we want the best teams there. Let's be honest. That's what we want. That's the whole point of a championship. I mean, let's be honest. If this was, the Rams and I don't know, whoever the Ravens would, I don't know how we would feel about it. I mean, let's just be honest. We want the best teams in the biggest game of the year. That's all there is to it. I just think we should be happy for this. This is a good thing, TJ. This is a good thing.
Can I have the second best team then, please? Because I've seen this rodeo before, and I don't want to give it away, but I think I know how it's going to end. Look, you're right, Mac. You're right. We want the best teams. We don't want some team that just gets hot at the end and wins a bunch of games, or it's in any sport, right? Like right. The Diamondbacks a couple years ago. I
kind of dig that story, though. The team that gets hot at the end.
Like the Diamondbacks a couple years ago wins 80. What was it? They won 84 games in the regular season. And then they just happened to get hot at the right time. And then they make the World Series. And they were completely overmatched by the Rangers. So You do want the best teams. Yes, for sure. Except I don't really want it this like on Sunday. I don't want the best teams.
Well, I did hear that Alabama was, a little ticked off that they weren't invited to the Super Bowl. So,
well,
that's because it would have been a pay cut.
Yeah, see, that joke doesn't work anymore, though. It's worked.
Right.
Never mind. We got plenty of those shows left. All right, real quick, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the matchup, I've got my thoughts, but I want to start with you guys. Mac, championship weekend, Bills were the team everybody wanted to see, and a lot of people wanted to see the Commanders. Whatever your personal preference was, what was your biggest takeaway of championship weekend?
Philadelphia is a damn good football team. They're a damn good football team. They did on both sides of the field. They looked damn good. I thought that Washington team was going to be a little more competitive, and good teams will make other good teams look non-competitive. They did that. Philly's a damn good team.
TJ, what was the number one thing that jumped out?
It was the same thing. Even when that game was pseudo close, I never felt Washington was going to make a run. I just felt that they might get it to within 10, 12, and then Philadelphia would just run the ball, and like Washington couldn't stop anything. They couldn't stop freaking beach ball. And so and Philadelphia made them pay.
They couldn't hold on to a beach ball either.
Oh yeah, for sure. But now Philadelphia gets the next step, man. They got to exercise the demons on behalf of the entire United States minus the Kansas City metropolitan area.
Kansas City, Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas. Do you want to specify? Probably not. That's a whole different. That's a whole. We could do a whole hour show just on that. My biggest takeaway from championship weekend was, hold on to the goddamn ball, Washington. Hold on to it. And it was funny because we got a couple of comments, and I know a few of them were Eagles fans and have your moment, and you should have your moment. But people like, oh yeah, Jaden Daniels wasn't ready for the moment. If you watch that game and you think the Commanders lost that game because Jaden Daniels had to check down to Zach Ertz, you didn't watch the same game the three of us did. Hold on to the ball. That's a different ball game. Second, and we've seen this now, especially with the way the coaching carousel has worked its way out. Buffalo, again, the Super Bowl everybody wanted to see when we got the official brackets was Buffalo and Detroit. And I think that would be a consensus answer there outside of your own personal whatevers in Houston and cities like that. Everybody wanted to see Buffalo and Detroit because somebody was going to win. Minnesota could have been thrown into that same argument. When we break it down and we get down to this, we questioned, would Buffalo go forward with Sean McDermott, which they are, and would they lose Joe Brady, which they didn't. So what is it for the Buffalo Bills is my thing. That was my biggest takeaway from that weekend is what the hell do the Bills need to do? I mean, obviously we know they need a primo guy, a T. Higgins kind of guy. They need a little more depth on their defense, a lot of defensive injuries. But when you guys go, and TJ, I'll start with you because you hung out with Bills Mafia most recently. Mm-hmm. Like when you look at Buffalo and they're keeping everybody, they're bringing everybody back. Like I just can't put my finger on what the hell has to happen for all of our Buffalo friends to finally get their moment.
I just don't know how you can go forward and bring everybody back. You've danced this dance
something
so many times. You have to change something. You just have to. Is it on the defense? I don't know. Is it on offense? Maybe. I thought the offense was okay. I can see you saying that they need a number one guy, but I think that that may come. That just may happen. I don't know. I'm a little perplexed by what Buffalo is up to right now. I don't know how they move forward with McDermott. I think they've reached the ceiling with him. I think he's an AFC title. If you want to get to the AFC title game, he's your guy. You want to win it, you got to find somebody else.
I'm going to take the other approach to this and say, listen, you're honestly, you're one play away from getting to the Super Bowl. How much do you want to change? I mean, that's really all that it is. I mean, you're in that whole game. I mean, you're one play away from getting into the Super Bowl. One catch, one defensive stand, just one stop. I mean, that's all it is. I mean, you're not that far away. I don't know how much you want to add or subtract from that team. And I know there's frustration. If I'm a Bills fan, I would feel that frustration as well. But I mean, this is a darn good team. I would take one more shot at it. I mean, you have to. Let's just be honest. Let's look at it this way. No team has ever won 4 Super Bowls in a row. So if Kansas City wins, you just have to think there's no way that they're going to win 4 in a row. It's just not going to happen. We don't see that. I know, but you're right there. I wouldn't change too much.
I just saw TJ fall into a death state when you said if Kansas City wins, there's no way. Like TJ's already like, look what you did to him.
Sorry.
Look at that. Like look at him.
I know.
I got nothing.
But you're right, Mac, and that was the thing. Like, and we were back and forth in the group chat about this. Like, what the hell? The tempo offense and James Cook, quick screen pass, James Cook, Josh Allen, James Cook, and then they went away from it. Like, you had it. And when you have a Spagnuolo defense, which is something we're going to get into here real quick, when you have them on their heels, that was the thing that blew my mind last weekend. Like, what are we doing here? You marched all the way down the field doing it this way, and now all of a sudden we just forgot that? The play calling more than anything down the stretch in that game, Mac, I still can't get over it 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but again, when I look at that game, I still get it's you're one play away, and that's all that gets to it. They were in that game. I'm like I wouldn't change very much on that team. I mean, I think they subtracted. They actually got a little bit better. I don't know that adding a number one receiver is going to make all that much of a difference on that team. Maybe not. I like the maturity of Josh Allen. I mean, this was the first time I watched him in that kind of a championship game where I didn't think he tried to take the game over. I just didn't. I mean, he looked really composed to me. Like, he's like, I'm going to take what I can. But I mentioned this, before that game, I always thought that he tried to do too much. I didn't think he tried to do too much. Maybe he didn't do enough, but I like the Bills where they are.
Yeah, and we're going to do our post Super Bowl hangover football Friday, and that'll be coming up here obviously soon, and we'll get into all of this and what do we do going forward to the next season and all that. But let's get to the matter at hand here. We've got Chiefs, we've got Eagles, we've got a combined 29-5 between these two teams. And there's a lot of ways to look at this. And when we go from an offensive side, let's start on the Chiefs side from an offensive side. We know Patrick Mahomes has a propensity, especially in Super Bowls, in the second half to just go, okay, it's go time. Whether it's his legs, whether it's the sideways throws, whatever Patrick Mahomes brings to the table. We know the stats. We've already seen them. Vic Fangio has never beaten Patrick Mahomes. So initial thoughts here, TJ, when we get to the Kansas City offense versus the Philadelphia defense, and we look at this Super Bowl that way, what's the first thing that jumps out to you?
I'm very interested, and I think I said this before the championship game, and so I think it applies again. I'm very interested to see what Kansas City does with Xavier Worthy and if Philadelphia can stop him. Because Xavier Worthy opens up a whole new dimension for the Chiefs offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at it this way, Mac, I looked at it from a betting angle, and every time the Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl, they've had a guy over plus 5-1 that's had a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And we saw it at the end of the AFC Championship game. Biggest clutch play they needed. All the weapons they have, the DeAndre Hopkins and Juju Smith-Schuster, Travis Kelce, great. We can go through the list. Samaje Perine was the guy they went to in clutch time. And that's what I think gives Kansas City such an interesting dynamic in the Super Bowl.
So one of the things that you mentioned about Buffalo, just back there for 1 second, was that they didn't really have a number one. That they had a whole bunch of guys, but no number one. And I think I kind of feel that same way with Kansas City. You can say Kelce won it, but Kelce's not really the number one. On some days he is, but I think that's the advantage that this Kansas City offense has, is that I think they have quite a few more weapons that, I mean, all of a sudden, like you said, Juju Smith-Schuster just kind of showed up. You kind of forgot he was even on the Chiefs for a while because he just didn't appear. And that's one thing that Andy Reid does, is that he just seems to know the right guy that, hey, listen, it's almost like, we've all been there in the coaching. We're like, hey, listen, they're going to take this guy out. So listen, you're going to have to really step up. You're going to be like our number one this week, or, hey, you're going to be our B guy this week. That's how I look at this Kansas City offense. I don't really see a true number one guy. It's very, very spread out. And it's like, if you're preparing for him, it's like, who do you prepare for? If you prepare for Kelce, then you're going to get hurt, like you said, with Worthy, or they're going to get you with her. This is a pretty diverse offense.
Yeah, it is a really diverse offense. And I talked about it earlier this week. You can hear the stats that Fangio is 0-8 against Mahomes, and you can dive into that and go, "Oh yeah, I like the Chiefs here." But when you break those numbers down, there's been a lot of times that Fangio's defense against Mahomes has been top of the line. So, Teach, if you're looking at the guys on the Eagles' defensive side, who are you looking at that you think is a playmaker for Fangio's D to slow down this Mahomes whoever offense?
I think it starts with Jalen Carter. I think he's got to. They've got to hit Mahomes. They got to put him on his back. They have to disrupt his timing. They have to do all of those, and that's a big ask because look, my dislike for the Chiefs aside, the offense knows what they're doing. They're experienced. They're plug and play. They can put anybody, just like the Patriots, they can put anybody in there. They could probably go get freaking Julian Edelman off the scrap heap and he'd have 100 yards in the Super Bowl if they signed him tomorrow. The offense is just like that. And so it's going to take a huge disruption to the timing aspect of this offense for Kansas City to get off their game. So it's got to start up front.
Sorry, I got distracted. I heard you.
It was because I think I gave such an intelligent answer that Mac did not know what to do. And so he was like, what the hell is going on?
I wish I could tell you what I was looking at, but it was kind of funny. I agree. Keeping Mahomes up is going to be the biggest thing. One of the things though about Kansas City we know about their offense is they throw a lot of quick passes, and that's why a lot of times you can't get to Mahomes. And whether it's through, to the wide receivers or to those running backs, they throw a lot of screens, a lot of quick passes. And so, and that's just another aspect, like I said, of this Kansas City offense that's really, really tough.
Yeah, and every time you get into a game like this, we had one of our followers, and again, follow us everywhere at Mike Arana Show, everywhere except for Snapchat. Tej, why are we not on Snapchat?
Maybe he is now.
TJ's trying to download his Snapchat thing. We're not on Snapchat because Snapchat sucks, and we're not 12. So, here's the thing, just to get us the train back on the tracks here. And as we transition to the other side and we look at the Kansas City defense against the Philadelphia offense, in these games, we had one comment in one of our videos that both these teams suck, and our social team did their job and they responded back and they were like, hey, 29-5, two teams that are 29-5 combined. Yeah, tell me how much that sucks. So when you get to these games, and Mac, we know this so much, and I know we're about to change directions here, but I wanted to bounce this off of you for a second. When you get into these games, it's not the good plays that you make. It's how many times can you avoid making the bad play. It's the shit, I was trying to force this in here, should have just tossed this out of bounds. That's what happens in these games. Like it's not the good plays. It's how many times can you avoid the bad play.
Yeah, and Mahomes is going to do that once. One time in this game, he's going to make a pass that is. I mean, we're all going to be sitting there. The ball's going to leave his hands, and we're all going to go, "Oh, wait!" And it's can Philadelphia make that play? Can they make that interception? Can they knock it down and not let the Eagles not let the Chiefs get the touchdown? That's what it's going to come down to. It always comes down to one play like that. I mean, I think that's a great point, Mike. Yeah,
absolutely. And then that's what it's going to come down to. So before we transition here, somebody's got a lane change. I think it's yours this time, Mac.
Absolutely.
Change us here. Super Bowl is a big deal.
Super Bowl's a big deal. And of course, the one big thing we all know about the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl can be good, the Super Bowl can be bad, but the one thing that can't is the food. So we're going to talk about food for a little bit. Did you know that on Super Bowl Sunday, 1 out of every 7 parties, they have takeout? I've never had takeout for Super Bowl. So have you guys ever had takeout for Super Bowl?
I've never done, and TJ is privy to this because he's been at a few of the Super Bowl parties. I have never done takeout for a Super Bowl. I will never do takeout for a Super Bowl. I think that's actually anti-American if you do that.
I kind of get it. TJ?
I have done takeout once for a Super Bowl.
You
and
communist.
And but it was brutal. I shouldn't have done it. I'll never do it again. Yeah, no, you got to do it yourself. You got to do it yourself.
Absolutely. Speaking of do it yourself, 10% of the people grill on Super Bowl Sunday. How we feel about grilling on Super Bowl Sunday?
Yeah.
All right.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
I'm just saying, one other thing before we go. I thought this was really, really important. We know that 6% of the people call in on Monday after the Super Bowl. But did you know I got this from 7-Eleven that their antacid sales go up 20% on the Monday after the Super Bowl? All right, let's get into the food. First question for you.
Time out. Are we, you got that from 7-Eleven? Did you go into a 7-Eleven and ask them, did you call corporate? Like, how did we get this from 7-Eleven? We're trying to give everybody credit here.
Absolutely. From the 7-Eleven website. It's one of those little Super Bowl things that they had that it said that they have an increase in their antacid sales 20% after Super Bowl Sunday.
Excellent. Thank you. Come again.
Love it. Absolutely. All right. Let's go with a couple yes or no's before we get into the big stuff. Yes or no, sweets, cupcakes, cookies, yes or no at the Super Bowl party?
TJ, I'll let you start this one.
That's going to be a no for me there, dog.
Mike?
I'm a sweet, salty, like salted caramel kind of guy. But I go through binges when I do sweets. It's like we got ice cream in the house, we got cookies in the house, we got candy in the house. Mm-hmm. I'm all about it for like 48 hours, and then the ice cream is freezer burned, and I end up throwing it away in like the end of March, right before I invade Anaheim. Yes, that's happening. So I'm going to say yeah, because if it's there, I might eat it. But I don't really care if it's there or not.
All right. This is a one. You have to pick one. Meatballs or quesadilla? TJ.
Quesadilla.
It's all about the meatballs. These spicy meatballs. Right. Meatballs, dude, because you can do, Mac, you can do them so many ways. Like a quesadilla is a quesadilla.
Extra
right.
credit.
I mean, you can have subs. You could, yeah. I meatballs got to be there. Although that's anyway. We're gonna go now with the top 8 foods. I'm gonna give you one of the foods we're gonna talk about a little bit. Then we're gonna put it in a little bracket, and we're gonna find out who our champion is. Let's start down at number 8. A little bit underrated.
Early. You're too early. You're a month early for brackets.
Warming us up for the bracket, boys. Here we go. At number 8, our 8th seed. Mike, I'm gonna have you start with this one. Chili.
If I'm making the chili, number 8 is disrespectful. Chili,
disrespectful.
Yes. Okay. Chili at 8 is. Are we talking about for the Super Bowl though?
Super Bowl, yes, for the Super Bowl.
See, chili for the Super Bowl. What happens at Super Bowl is you get your one drunk uncle that shows up for the Super Bowl party. There's always spills. So chili is a highly spillable item. So at a Super Bowl, I'm going to say no.
All right. TJ?
No, I'm going to say no. Unless it's the HMFIC making it, I'm going to say no.
All right. And the number 7 spot. TJ, I'm going to start with you because you look, I think you're this kind of guy. Pigs in a blanket.
That's going to be a no for me there, dog. Is that a fat joke? I mean, come on. Nope. Not a chance.
Well, a guy who's wearing a shirt that says running sucks is probably not a is probably a pigs in a blanket guy. So that wasn't fat shaming on you.
No, not at all.
I will be doing my annual Super Bowl run in the morning so I can put in a shift on the couch in the afternoon for sure. But pigs in a blanket will be absent from the fair.
Speaking of that shift.
Hey, hold on. Pigs in a blanket for me, Mac. The equivalent of the Dallas Cowboys.
Absolutely.
So
you know that on average,
they don't belong in this deep of a
they don't belong in the Super Bowl. On average, on Super Bowl Sunday, just so you know, people take on about 1,200 calories extra than what they normally do.
That's
I'll have that in beer before the first hour before the game.
I'm glad you brought that up. 325.5 million gallons of beer. And that's just at Mike's house on Super Bowl Sunday. No, I'm just
I was going to say like 300 gallons outside of my house. What are we doing?
There you go. All right, Mike, we're going to go for you. This one, number 6. What is your feel about potato skins?
Oh, so there used to be a restaurant out here locally that did potato skins in a way I've never seen them done. They were quartered, and then you could add chicken, you could add bacon, like yada, yada, yada. Potato skins, all about it, but you have to get the ice cream scooper to get the right depth in the potato. Otherwise, it's shit.
Teach?
This is all too labor intensive for me. I'm going to go with no on that. Like,
says the guy who's at too labor intensive. Says the guy who's ordered takeout for a Super Bowl. How appropriate.
Super Bowl.
Now,
this next one, I don't know that I've ever had. It's kind of a newer thing, sort of sliders. So we have sliders. We're going. Could be hamburger, could be like little chicken ones, but sliders.
Go ahead, Mr. Pigs in a Blanket.
Who on
DoorDash in your area has sliders for you?
Nope.
You lazy shit.
If you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. That thing's got that. If I'm having a burger, it's a 1 pound burger. It's 4 quarter-pound patties. I'm not going with the mini slider. No, this is America.
TJ will not be out grilling little sliders.
Give me meat.
Mike, sliders? No.
Back to you in the studio.
It depends on what the slider is. You want to go a little prime rib slider, little brisket slider, be different on the slider? Yeah. But I'm kind of like TJ. Like, if I'm eating a burger, like we used to tell our kids when I was coaching basketball, if you're going to shoot a 3, shoot a effing 3. If you're on the line, it's like when you go to Disneyland and you get there and they tell you Mickey Mouse is out sick. Or if Mickey Mouse played in the NBA, Mickey Mouse is out for load management today. Like, so if you're going to get that close to the damn 3-point line and shoot it with your toes on it, it's like going to Disneyland with no Mickey Mouse. So if I'm going to eat a burger, yeah, it's a pound burger. And I'm still young enough and dumb enough to think I can do the 2-pound burger challenges. So sliders are okay if we're like prime ribbing it, brisketing it, pulled porking it. Burger sliders, hell no.
All right. I think this next one is underrated.
That was way too detailed. I'm sorry.
That was a lot. This next one I think is underrated. I love this next one. But after your last comment, Mike, about chili, I'm not sure you're going to like this, but I think this is an underrated Super Bowl food. I'm talking nachos. I'm talking like chicken nachos, beef nachos on top, not just the nacho chip, like on top, cheese, all jalapenos, that kind of nacho. I think it's underrated. I love nachos. Mike, let's go with you.
Yeah, we'll start with me because this is easy. Nachos, I'm Italian. Lasagna, I hate lasagna. You know why? Any boob can layer shit and throw it on a plate. Nachos, same thing for me. Nachos for me, when it comes to a Super Bowl reference, Scott Norwood. Go ahead, TJ.
Wow.
Nope.
All right.
Just not a
this
chance.
one is
not a chance.
This one is the real close to nachos. We're gonna go just chips and dip. Dip of your choice, chip of your choice, but chips and dip. Mike,
See,
no nachos, but how about chip and dip?
No, TJ, you can go ahead and start, Mr. Food Palette. It's like Gordon Ramsay TJ on the show. General McDavid, Ramsey, TJ, Bobby Flay. Go for it, TJ.
I'm the don't hate because the mayor of Flavortown is a part of the nation, but I can get behind this, and the reason why I can get behind this, it's easy. All I have to do is open a bag and open a something, probably salsa because I don't do dip that much, but I can get behind this. Yes.
Nice. All right. The last two.
I don't do dip at all.
You're right, says the man. All right. The last two are easy. Number 2 is pizza, and number 1 is wings. So before we get to the bracket portion of this, I have to ask about the wings. TJ, my question for you. Wash the chicken or don't wash the chicken? It's the new rage. We need to know. Do you wash your chicken or not wash your chicken?
What?
We're on YouTube.
What the hell does that mean?
Mike, help him out, Mike. Help him out.
Dude, everybody's socially right now. Everywhere but Snapchat. And we're not on Snapchat because you froze the last time I asked this. Why are we not on Snapchat, TJ?
Because Snapchat's dumb and we're not 12.
Exactly. But on all the other socials, since we got called a bunch of old AF the other day, on all of our other social channels, there's this thing about, do you wash your chicken before you cook it, or do you not wash your chicken? And I'm sitting there watching this and I'm going, well, if you do my age, you subtract 3 decades. I saw my first Playboy 11. Yeah, that sounds about. I've been washing my chicken for 3 decades. So, like, I don't understand what this new fascination about washing your chicken is. So, yes, I wash my chicken. Do you wash your chicken, TJ?
No. I don't wash my chicken.
All right, get to the damn bracket so we can talk about why the Chiefs are winning another Super Bowl.
Where the hell are you guys partying with washing your chickens and nachos and
underrated food, nachos?
Oh
underrated
my goodness gracious. Okay, sorry, Mac.
No, that's okay.
Horrible
all right,
food.
Real quick.
Horrible food, nachos.
Nachos or chips and dip? What are we going with?
I'm going chips and dip. I'm not going nachos. Too labor intensive.
Chips and dip.
All right. Pigs in a blanket, TJ, or pizza?
The pizza, if I have to pick.
I know Mike's going to pick pizza. He's not going to pick.
You have to pick.
You had to pick. Yes.
They
got to move on.
Right, keep going.
I got ripped for getting takeout. How am I going to?
I know. All right. How about wings or chili?
Is that even a freaking question?
All right. We'll move chili on. I'm joking. All right. Last one. This is a tough one. Sliders or potato skins?
Skins. Because sliders are too commonly known with burgers.
All right. All right. Here we go.
Clown question.
Final four. Pizza or chips and dip?
Did you expand the tournament? Because this feels like the expanded form of the NCAA tournament, like it's been going on forever.
We just went on the Tuesday plan.
What was the question?
Pizza or chips and dip?
Oh,
not so hard. It's not so easy.
Well, what's the other semifinal? Hold on.
Wings or skins?
So wings or skins, and then pizza or chips and dip.
That's right.
I'm going chips.
Ooh.
I'm going for chips because that's going to be something that you can go to multiple times throughout the game, whereas pizza and the law of diminishing returns, you're probably not going there nearly as much. I'm going chips.
I'm going chips. Unanimous.
Wow, I think that's an upset. All right, and I know it's going to be wings. The wings or chips and dip. We can only have one. What are we going with, boys? Watching your chicken or easy? Easy. It's wings. That's our winner. I declare it.
Spinach artichoke dip wings. And they fly.
Ding, 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 ding,
and
ding, ding.
And they fly like the Kansas City defense does, guys. When we look at this, and I mentioned this earlier this week when we talked about the whole Fangio scenario against Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City defense can fly all over the place. Steve Spagnuolo, doesn't matter what kind of quarterback you put in front of him. And it always seems, and this is the thing, Mac, and I'll start here with you. We've seen the Chiefs do the Super Bowl thing twice against the Niners and once against the Eagles. Can they get their second against the Eagles and all that? We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But it seems like every one of these Super Bowls, Kansas City hits halftime, no matter who the hell is propelling down from wherever, and they turn into a different team. And I think even more so than Patrick Mahomes turns into a different Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City defense adjustments in all three of their Super Bowl wins have been just magical. And that's the thing with this Chiefs defense against Philly's offense. And we know how good Saquon Barkley is. But I got this feeling that it doesn't matter what Saquon's doing because of Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just preaches to good coaching. I mean, that's what good coaches do. I mean, you know that the Chiefs have their game plan going in, what they're going to do to stop Philly's offense, but they're not going to show everything right off the bat. You know, they're going to hold some stuff, and I think that's what they do very, very well. And they make those really, really good adjustments. I mean, the bottom line is this. I mean, if you take Saquon out of this Philadelphia offense, they're still good. I mean, let's be honest, but they're substantially not as good. I mean, he's a big part, and he's been hitting the home runs too. I think that's the big thing. It's not like it's Barkley for 2 yards here and 3 yards here. Barkley's been hitting these home run runs, these 60-yard, 50-yard, 70-yard runs, and that just changes the complexion of the game so quick. And so I think that's one of the big things is can they? It's not so much stopping him on the short runs. They're going to do that. Is can they stop him from hitting a home run?
I mean, Saquon's been unbelievable in this playoff run, and he's going to feature in a little bit. But I don't know. I thought that the Packers were going to stop him. They couldn't. I thought the snow was going to stop him. It didn't. I thought the Commanders were going to stop the running game. They didn't. Philadelphia just keeps rising to the occasion. I'm taking out all the bull crap. We're just talking about Saquon and straight up running plays, not the other horse bleep that they do at the 1 yard line. But the Eagles keep opening up holes for the running backs. I mean, bloody Shipley had 100 yards the other day. So it's amazing how consistent and how effective this running game has been, and what that does. I mean, it's really good for the Eagles because it means that Jalen Hurts doesn't have to make as many dang choices. So yeah, I mean, once again, I think this starts up front with the Chiefs. It has to.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And that's the thing with the Chiefs is you go level by level by level with the Chiefs. And like, okay, cool. They've won 17 straight one-score games. You can't cool that. That's an NFL record. They know how to win ugly. They know how to win when it's tight. They know how to pull out that play and we'll call it Happy Meal. I'm losing all my McDonald's characters. The big fat purple guy. The hell was his name?
Grimace.
Yeah, Grimace left chicken nuggets right. Dino Nuggets post ZY. Boom, touchdown. We hear this cool story all the time. And it's funny, but it works. And the thing we talked about earlier with the Chiefs offense, you don't know who their number one is. Mm-hmm. We talked Samaje Perine in clutch time. DeAndre Hopkins was kind of not there in the AFC Championship game. He could have a massive Super Bowl. When you go to the Chiefs on the defensive side, and Tranquil and Reed and Bolton and obviously Karlaftis and Jones, like Trent McDuffie, like they're all great players and they're all capable of great games, but you never know which way anybody's coming. And I think that's the biggest thing with the Chiefs defense, Mac, is you don't know who's coming. And you can say, like you said, the same for the Eagles offense. You kind of don't know who's coming, but I wonder, because they've had such a propensity on Saquon Barkley because he's been out of this freaking world, like instant touchdown. Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert's been really good too. Dennis Goddard for you, DJ. Grant Calcaterra. We haven't seen him. I have a bet on Grant Calcaterra to catch a touchdown in the Super Bowl. I made it 3 weeks ago when those were available. So
right.
Both of these teams have so many guys that are interchangeable, but there's just something about Spagnuolo's defense.
You know, and you almost wonder, it's like, if they go into this, and I like your point, like, you know, we may not be able to stop Barkley. So let's go ahead. I mean, there's two ways you can do that. We've talked from a basketball standpoint, you know, you have a team that's got a great score. Do you just let that scorer go and score and try to stop everybody else? Is that the approach that Kansas City takes in this? Say, listen, we're not going to let their passing game get anything. We'll let Barkley get a couple of things here and there, but we're going to shut everybody else down. You know, is that an approach that they take? It'll be interesting to see how they do that, because it, like Teach, like you said, it doesn't seem like it matters. Philly's offensive line has been so good. Barkley's been so good. Maybe we can't stop them, but if we stop everybody else, we probably got a good chance in this thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you make the team one-dimensional, obviously you're going to probably be in pretty good shape. But yeah, I mean, pick one. The Chiefs need to pick one, and it might be easier to like you say, what is it? You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Let him get his. Let Barkley get his. Let him move the ball between the 20s, like Philadelphia's defense has shown. Especially against the Rams, they let that team move the ball within the 20s, but then when they got inside the red zone, they buckled down and didn't give up anything. So maybe it's one of those things where you bend but not break. So, you know, yeah, it's a fascinating matchup.
You know, I think first and second down are going to be – I would like to see Kansas City just be blitzing on first and second down, because I think if they can get Philadelphia into third and fairly long, it kind of takes away that running game a little bit. I think that would be successful for them.
Yeah, and it's, you know, just to back my previous point here, and then I got a trivia question for you two. I have been waiting all week to ask you guys this, because we're old AF, as one of our followers said, on all of our social channels at Mike Arena Show. So I've been dying to ask you guys this one, but like, the leading tackler, and this isn't the trivia question, the leading tackler in the postseason for the Chiefs is Shamari Connor. Like, all the guys the Chiefs have on defense that I could have, like, if I would have asked you guys that question, he would have never been in your top, like, 7 potential answers. And that just proves the point. And to be fair to the Eagles, on the other side, they have as many guys, but that's my concern, is we've seen so much on Saquon, and he, by good reason, it's what got him here. We've seen a little bit of A.J. Brown, a little bit of Devontae Smith, but it's been like Barkley, Goddard. Oh, by the way, we have these other guys where the Chiefs are like, well, this guy would be a number 1 or for sure number 2 on this other team, and we use all of them. And that's kind of the interesting part that I'm getting ready to find out, as we all are. All right. Only one time in Super Bowl history, speaking of guys like Saquon Barkley, the Saquon Barkley props are stupid. As everybody knows, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, Saquon Barkley's birthday just happens to be Sunday. And you can bet Saquon Barkley to score 5 touchdowns. The props are ridiculous. So, Saquon Barkley, would you guys bet him to, hypothetical, would you bet him to rush for 200 yards in the Super Bowl? And you think, well, he could do it, but it's a Super Bowl. Only one time in Super Bowl history there has been a 200-yard rusher. Do you guys know who and when that was? And this is open. I will do my own self countdown here. Whoever thinks they know without cheating. So put both of your hands up, both of you. No cheating here. No AI. It's only one time in Super Bowl history there's been a 200-yard rusher.
It was Timmy Smith.
Wasn't it? For who?
Super Bowl 22 for the Washington Redskins.
Oh, very nice. Bonus points if you can name the second highest single game rusher in Super Bowl history. Get your damn hands off the keyboard, dude. You should know it.
I know who it is.
If you had to type it,
I know
worse.
I know who it is. I'm waiting to see if Mac knows.
Mac, do you know who was second highest single game rushing yards in Super Bowl history?
The record was broken within 5 years.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, TJ, you were playing fair, so I will let you answer this.
Marcus Allen.
Marcus Allen had how many yards?
I don't remember.
191. Do you know who the opponent was, ironically?
The Eagles.
The Washington Redskins.
Exactly. There you go. I figured since we're all old AF here, but as we talk about 5 touchdowns, we talk about this, we talk about that. One of the coolest things to bet every Super Bowl is prop bets. And at this time, I will now turn it over to our prop bet host, Mr. Tony James.
So we all know that I'm just going through because I have a bunch of them bookmarked on my phone. Look, the amount of props that you can bet in a Super Bowl is literally innumerable. Like, there's so many of them. However, there are restrictions by state. Like, for example, did you know in Arizona you cannot bet on the Gatorade color with certain outfits?
That's why I can't find it.
And so and certain states you cannot bet on the coin toss. So yes, there's a lot of them, but in certain locales you can only do certain things. And we all, over the season, we've all done some sort of prop betting. We've all picked anytime touchdown scores. We all picked first touchdown scores. Those are always fun. But the Super Bowl seems to bring out a little bit more fun. For example, I can bet Patrick Mahomes to throw for at least 225 yards. It's minus money right now. But would you bet him to throw over 275 yards? Because that's plus money. And there's a lot of things to consider. Number one, the game is indoors. Number two, a lot of people expect this to be a high-scoring game. So you have all these factors that are involved. Would you bet same lot? Would you bet Jalen Hurts to throw at least 200 yards? That's minus money. What about 225? Because that's plus money. It's one more completion, really, one more long completion. So the Super Bowl brings out these things where, yes, I think he's going to throw for 150, but if he throws for 225, I have a chance to do something really special with my money here.
All right. So I've known you for a long time, and I know you saw probably a handful of these that you wanted to go. I'm going to ask Mike and Mac which way they'd go on them. So what do you got? What do you got? Let's play a little game for a minute here.
Okay, well, I'll start with easy ones, and I'll start with easy ones, and then I'll go to more fun ones. So I'll start with a little more conventional.
You're in charge here. We're following you.
I'll start a little more conventional. Okay, so Harrison Butker, would you bet him to have at least 8 kicking points in this game? It's minus 141. And I will throw in another stat for you. Harrison Butker has averaged 7.3 kicking points per game.
Of course.
You said 8 points?
8. So that's 2 field goals and 2 extra points.
So this is your game. So who gets the start, me or Mac?
I'll let Mac start.
Yes. I think he'll have at least 8.
7.3. See, you had to do that, man. You had to do that. I think this is going to be closer to like the score of the last time they played. So I'm going to say yeah.
Okay.
Over.
Would you bet? Okay, so over 8. So you're going to say at least 8. So that's a minus 141.
Okay.
Would you go at least 10? We'll go with you, Mike. That's one more field goal. Would you go at least 10?
3 field goals, 3 touchdowns. Maybe I'm leading into my best bet. Yeah, I'd go 10. I'd go 10 on Butker. That'd be my ceiling.
Mac, would you go 10?
No.
Okay, if he kicks it, so I told you that at least 8 was a minus 141. At least 10 is a plus 162. So you can see the difference in the huge difference, and it's one field goal, right? It's one field goal. All right, let's have some fun with this. Right? We'll do a couple of fun ones here. Coin toss.
It's a 50-50 chance.
Tails. Exactly.
Oh, not 50.
Exactly.
Really.
But tails never fails, right?
Mac, you have to start this one.
All right, here we go. Heads.
Did you just flip? You didn't flip a coin. If you had a coin in there, like I'm going with tails because it has been a almost 51% tails in the Super Bowl. Yes, I have no life.
Okay. How about this? How about this? The Kansas City Chiefs to win the coin toss and win the game. It's plus 255.
I'm gonna go
win
yes
the coin
on
toss
that.
and win the game.
I'm gonna go yes on that because I don't bet against Patrick Mahomes, or do I? Best bet's still coming. That was a horrible tease. Come on, Mac, make
that
up
was
your
pretty
damn
dope,
mind.
actually.
No,
Thank you.
no.
Appreciate that, bro.
No.
All right, so
Okay.
Mac says no. I would take that bet. Remember, we're spending $100 of TJ's money on all of these.
Yeah, I still wouldn't.
You can spend whatever you want. All right. Will the game end in scoregami, meaning a unique final score?
I love this bet, and I have
plus 2,500 for yes.
I'm going to say this. I have bet this bet every year for the last 10 years since I found out what a scoregami was. So yes. The shitty thing about this, if you bet it, is trying to do the whole Zach Galifianakis and Hangover numbers a la Rain Man in your head, what the potentials are.
Right.
You can't do it, so it drives you mad. But yeah, I always bet scoregami for sure.
Mac, are you gonna bet it? I'm gonna bet it.
I would, yes, I would. I love that kind of stuff.
Okay. I've got another fun one here. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. The fastest ball carry speed according to Next Gen Stats. Xavier Worthy, over or under 18.5 miles per hour. So when at any time that he is carrying the ball, will he run over or under 18.5 miles per hour?
That's a good one.
Over is minus money and under is plus money.
So here, a little background history for people here. We've got a science teacher and a math teacher in the group. So yeah, Mac, you can start.
I don't think Kansas City's defense is going to allow him to get loose, so I'm going to say under.
Well, I mean, Kansas City's defense.
I mean Philly's defense. I'm sorry.
Well, hold on though. Is because prop bets can get as exotic as hell. Are we talking about the last Chiefs practice or the actual Super Bowl?
We're talking about the game.
Can Philadelphia Vegas Mac slow him down?
Yeah, it'll be under. I don't think he's going to get loose.
I am going to say meep.
I like that.
I think
bet.
he goes over. I think he goes over. Okay, I'll give you another next gen one. Who will have the player to have the most yards after catch from a single reception?
Which team?
Which player? I will give you 5. I will give you Xavier Worthy at plus 390. I will give you AJ Brown at plus 730. I will give you Devonta Smith at plus 760. I will give you Travis Kelce at plus 790. And I will give you Saquon Barkley at plus 980. Who will have the most yak?
That's
Mac, what do you think?
Who the hell is posting that?
That is courtesy of our friends, not a sponsor, FanDuel.
FanDuel.
I think it's going to be Barkley. I think Saquon.
And honestly, with what we've seen in the postseason, like, that's a hell of a guess. Travis Kelce, no. Is that the end of the list? Because I got a guy who I think could do it.
The list, there are other guys on the list. I'm
going to go off your list.
Okay.
Get me down to Dennis.
Dennis is plus 680.
Dallas Goedert is my pick there.
All right.
They've been doing this little like pitch run, like I can see Dennis Goedert getting out.
I like that.
And speaking of Dennis Goedert, I'm going to give you a cross sport.
Oh Jesus. You're cross sporting. We haven't even gotten to best bets and we're cross sporting.
Who will have more, Dallas Goedert receptions or Tyrese Maxey threes made against the Bucks the same morning? Dallas Goedert receptions is minus 130. Tyrese Maxey threes made is plus 155.
The NBA getting into a super football Friday show because the NBA, Adam Silver, give you credit. I know this didn't work out in like any grand plan, but my God, guys, Jimmy Butler's got a new home. Luka, the NBA has dominated the week. So I'm going to go with Tyrese Maxey because it's the NBA's week. Ugh.
I'd have to say Maxey. I always have to say Maxey because TJ, I think you said that's all they shoot in the NBA is 3. So, right?
That is, and I can confirm I will not be watching. I will not be watching. All right, I've got one more for you.
Nobody's watching.
We know that we are old AF. We know that the best halftime show ever was Prince in the Rain in Miami when he famously said, "Can you make it rain more and harder?" while he's playing. And then he goes into a rendition of Purple Rain, which absolutely brought the house down after he passed away. I watched it several times and cried like a baby every single time. What will Kendrick Lamar's first song be? You have Humble at plus 160. You have Not Like Us at plus 380. You have Squabble Up at plus 430.
Excuse me. I didn't want you to go farther down that list. If I was going to make said bet, I would have to know what said singer who I believe is Kendrick Lamar. I mean,
It-
we're old AF. So Kendrick Lamar, I don't know what he sings, so I'm out on this. This is a pass. One of the rare times I pass on a bet. Mac, I know
Mac.
you've got Kendrick Lamar banging in there.
Yeah. Is it Kendrick Perkins? I'd be better if it's Kendrick Perkins.
Mac says puppy bowl at halftime. All right, guys. I've got one for you guys because this will get us back to transition us into our best bets. An octopus in the Super Bowl is 15-1. For those of you not familiar with an octopus, TJ mentioned the scoregami earlier. If you don't know about it, go look it up on X. Look it up anywhere. Fantastic. Will there be an octopus? And for those of you that don't know, you score the touchdown, your team goes for 2, you also get the 2-point conversion. So, like a lot of people are thinking, Saquon Barkley scores the touchdown, Saquon Barkley gets handed the ball, converts the 2-point conversion. Will there be an octopus in the Super Bowl is 15-1. I love the number on it. Can either one of you guys with these two coaches, would you take that bet at 15-1? I'm giving you $100.
Yeah, I can
do
see
you wanna
Reed. I can see Reed doing that. Absolutely, he's a gunslinger at heart.
You see, Mac, you see Reed doing it. Give me your chief combo, your chief player that you could see doing it. You got a worthy, a hunt. Careful how you say that in this day and age.
No, it would be some. I think it would be something to Kelsey.
Yeah, so Mac would take it with a thought of a Kelsey. If you could pick an eagle before we get to TJ's pick, if you could pick an eagle to have the touchdown and 2-point conversion, you can't say Saquon. If you do, that's bullshit because I just said it.
I think it would be Hurts running it in or getting pushed in.
I think that's a good call. Oh, you said pushed in. Did you see Tony's face? All right, TJ, would you take the octopus first and foremost?
I would.
All right, and give me a chief and an eagle if you could take an exact octopus bet.
If I could take an exact, I better watch myself here. I'd go hunt. And if Mac's taking Jalen, I'm going to go off the board, and I'm taking Dennis, because you saw in the game against the Commanders, they ran him in short yardage.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I saw a prop bet as we transition to best bets. I saw one the other day. There's an actual, and I can't remember the bookmaker that's got it, but over under on Dallas Goedert rushing yards. And I was like, what are we doing here, people? Like, seriously? All right, guys. Best bets time. I kind of took a theme with this. As we know, the Wasted Management Open is going on not far from me right now in Arizona. So I took a little bit of a golf and NFL. You guys know I've been on a rampage since the postseason started to predict the Super Bowl MVP. Now, it's lost a lot of its shine because I've gone through a lot of guys that aren't going to be the Super Bowl MVP because they're in Cancun right now. But it's a fun bet at the beginning of the postseason to try and track the Super Bowl MVP. So, best bets, we've all kind of got a theme, except for Mac because he has whatever the hell happened. So, customary because we've done it this way the entire football season. TJ, give me your best bets for the Super Bowl, not your Super Bowl winner.
My best bets for the Super Bowl. I am going to take a Super Bowl prop, and it won't surprise you that it crosses football and hockey. And I am taking the total goals scored by the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens to be greater than the number of receptions by Taylor's boyfriend, and I get plus 130 on that action. And I also may drop.
Wait. Rewind.
Rewinding.
Canadians and the Leafs?
Canadians and the Lightning.
No, Lightning.
Oh, okay. And they play Sunday.
They play Sunday at, I believe, 9:30 or 10:30.
I kind of like that. Sorry, didn't mean to.
No,
I was trying to think of the Taylor Swift song because, yes, as we know, the only reason the Chiefs are there is because Taylor Swift. I was trying to think of a Taylor Swift song. By the way, those of you that think that the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl because the NFL wants Taylor Swift, you're all idiots. You can proceed, Tony.
I think you just called me an idiot.
No, not you. I don't remember all my Taylor Swift songs. That's all.
I am also going to drop a single dollar or two on a guest appearance in the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. And this might surprise people, but I am old AF, but I do keep up. And I think this is going to be one of those redemption moments. My man, Drizzy, is going to show up in New Orleans. I'm getting it at plus 3,500. It's God's plan.
Drizzy at plus 3,500?
Yes.
Hold on. Since we're old AF, do you want to tell people who Drizzy is?
That would be Drake.
Thank you. For those of you
whose real first name is Aubrey. That's how I have it in my phone when I text him. So
Mac has already texted TJ to get Aubrey's number. Mac, as much as this scares me sometimes, your best bets, not your Super Bowl winner, your best bets.
You guys were really upset with me last week or 2 weeks ago in my best bet. So this is the Super Bowl. If it's the Super Bowl, you got to bring your best. I am looking to clean up
wearing a picture.
after this football season. I am looking to clean up after this football season. And listen, the Super Bowl is as any event. We got to change the tide. Okay? We're going to change the tide. So here's my first big shout out. Okay?
That's why he's wearing the pit shirt. He couldn't do laundry because it was all there.
Yeah. My first one. Here's my prop. An anytime touchdown to Travis Kelce. That's my first shout out. Now, I'm going to double down on my gains on this one. Okay? Here's my second prop bet for you. Are we going to see Taylor Swift during the national anthem? My answer for that is no. We are not going to see Taylor during the national anthem. Now, I think my next shout out, I'm a little confused about this one, but it's going to be about the halftime show and Lamar Jackson. Now, I don't understand. I didn't even know Lamar Jackson was a singer. Okay?
What?
I mean, now, what would have happened if Baltimore was playing? How could he do both? Was he going to go in at halftime and change and then come back out and sing? I mean, so I'm excited to see Lamar. I don't know if he's going to spin footballs or what he's going to do. But listen, I don't know that. I don't know what songs Lamar Jackson sings. So unless he's doing a cover, I'm going to have to go with Tony with the under because I don't know anything that Lamar Jackson actually sings. So I'm just a little confused, and I'm glad Baltimore is not actually in the Super Bowl. My last one is Gatorade. That's right. Look, we got all these Gatorade colors. Which one are they going to pour on the winner? It's not going to be clear. It's not going to be blue. We're not going with yellow. No, not green. Hey, did you know the last couple of times that when Kansas City won, they used purple? It's not going to be purple. It's not going to be red. My final shout out, it's going to be orange.
I go ahead, Teach. Go.
I just hope Lamar Jackson does a cover of Outkast's Miss Jackson, so we can go full circle with the Jacksons.
What
And
is he part of? Is he part of like the Jackson family? Maybe Janet. I'm thinking maybe parents by Janet.
I feel like this is a good time for those of you that have followed us through our first football season of live and pre-recorded shows. We do things differently around here, and you know, anybody that does a show like this, there's a show layout, and there's, hey, we're going to talk about this and this. Best bets started by Mac just being Mac. And we got a couple of in-person, and I'm not lying about this. We got a couple of in-person comments at one point of, I love watching your Football Friday shows. I watch until the very end for the best bet segment because Vegas Mac is so funny. Now, TJ and I and the rest of our crew have a lot of different things that we refer to Vegas Mac as, but I want you to know, in this day and age of bullshit in content forms like this, TJ and I never know what Vegas Mac is going to do, and there has never been a directive by anybody at our show and our parent company, Wavegate Media, that has said, hey, Vegas Mac this week needs to light himself on fire and do something crazy. This is Vegas Mac. This is our show. This is what we do. You see dogs eating and walking in backgrounds. You see TJ mention JT Miller and his dog barks. And Vegas Mac has 3 different... This is us. This is what we do. So what you just saw there, I kind of apologize for if you were drinking, because it's probably already all over your phone or whatever. But this is us, and this is what we do. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I was just doing laundry, and it just came
to me. How long has that
baby?
Been in your office?
Just a few minutes when we started. I had to do. I was doing laundry.
We communicate all the time, the 3 of us, and I don't remember ranting to you guys and going off on Pitt the other night when they choked at home to Virginia, and like needing you to troll me with the Pitt shirt. But now I know you're wearing the Pitt shirt because you got to the depths of your closet because you were hoarding the Gain, the Tide, the Shout, the Oxy, the Billy Mays, this product, that product. What the? Why? Why do you do that to your family? You guys have KFC and you take it all in your office. My best bets with the Phoenix Open going on, which obviously when you guys see this, Phoenix Open's already started, but I'm on this quest. It's been my Mr. Holland's opus. You know, we're supposed to be old AF, and I don't even know if that's the right reference, but I'm going with it. I want to find the Super Bowl MVP. So on my own, Xavier Worthy, AJ Brown, Kareem Hunt. I have bets on those guys to be Super Bowl MVP. Grant Calcaterra to catch a touchdown in the Super Bowl. But my best bets for the weekend, I wanted to combine golf and football. And you know, if you've been here in Arizona, when the Wasted Management Open's going on, when the Super Bowl's here, it is a party of all parties. And I know it's a great one down on Bourbon Street in Nala right now. But when the Phoenix Open's here and the Super Bowl, there is no better party in town. So, in that theme, Sam Burns and Saquon Barkley, MVP, winner, plus 9260. Xavier Worthy and Tom Kim, plus 84,000. Scotty Scheffler, Xavier Worthy, plus 10,000 and change. Max Grazerman and AJ Brown, plus 241,000. That one's a reach, but I wanted to have some fun this week, and I got a couple other props. We are going to have our Saturday night Super Bowl 3-lay prop. DJ is going to make his best bet, whether it's Mahomes rushing yards, this, that, the other thing, touchdown score. Mac's going to pick his. I'm going to pick mine. We're going to drop that Saturday night for you. Plenty of stuff to come. But guys, it's a Super Bowl show. TJ, who is winning the Super Bowl and why?
God dang it.
Say it, TJ. Say it.
Say it with your chest.
Come on. You know you want to say it.
I can't.
Shout it out.
I've said it the entire year, and I'm going to keep saying it. And it was my pick at the beginning of the season. And I cannot look. They've won 17 games in a row that are one-score games. That's not an accident. 2 or 3 might be an accident. And look, it doesn't matter. We can poke fun and tinfoil hat the whole thing if you want to. But the Kansas City Chiefs are a damn good football team. They're here for a reason. They're going to win, and they're going to win from behind.
Vegas Mac.
All right.
Eagles or Chiefs and why? Oh,
Eagles and Chiefs. Eagles and Chiefs. This is it. Kansas City, these are 2 really good teams. I think this is going to be a super game. I think we're going to just enjoy this one. I think that Barkley's going to break one off, a big run. I think he's going to break a big one off mid-third quarter, early fourth quarter. I think that's going to be the difference. Philadelphia wins this Super Bowl.
Philadelphia wins this Super Bowl. Man, that's crazy. Now I get to decide what happens here. Here's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so. I've been anti-Philadelphia all year. Now, Eagles fans, you hear that. I have some futures bets on your baseball team. We'll get to that on a different show. Nick Sirianni has proved to me something I didn't think he was capable of this year. Saquon Barkley, the difference of the Eagles, I don't totally buy that. I think something happened with Nick. I think something happened within that team, and they got rolling like they did. I don't have any hate for the Eagles. I think this is going to be a fantastic Super Bowl. I think if you're one of those clowns out there saying, I'm not watching this Super Bowl, good. That'll teach them. If you don't watch, there's still going to be 48 million others of us that do because it's the Super Bowl. The Eagles belong there. They deserve to be there. They've earned it. I think the Eagles, if you stack position by position, are a better team. I'm not an idiot. And until I see it happen before my eyes, Kansas City, congratulations on your Chiefs, Pete. Sorry, Pat Riley. I don't owe you anything. It's the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs because I can't bet against Mahomes. But I think the Super Bowl has the capability, guys, to go down as the greatest Super Bowl that we have ever seen. And I really, really believe that because I think these two teams are a 1 and 1A of each other. And if people get past the point of, nobody wanted to see these teams, blah, but it's rigged for these, you get past that. There is no doubt, period, top to bottom, from 157 days ago when we started the season, that these are the 2 best teams in football, and we got what we wanted, whether we want to admit it or not.
Yep.
Mac, final words there.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is with all these games, we know for a while there we had a couple of snoozers in the Super Bowl. That's all that we really, really hope for is we really want a good game, fun way to finish out the football season. I'm excited. I can't wait for Sunday.
TJ.
7 months till I see Oasis.
Oh, are you not going to watch the Super Bowl?
No, I'm look, I think this is going to be a fun game, and I have no love for Kansas City at all. None whatsoever. I don't think it's in my contract that I have to have love for Kansas City. But we have to, we can say what we want to say, and we can look and put together all the collages of bull crap that happens in a game. But the Chiefs are here for a reason. They're good. The Eagles are here for a reason. They're also good. I hope it's fun, man. I hope both teams play hard.
It's going to be a fun one. It's going to come down to not who makes the biggest play, who makes the mistake first. Our Super Bowl hangover show will be coming to you at some point next week. For TJ, for Vegas Mac, start your stuff, go to the grocery store, get your stuff handled so on Sunday morning you're ready to go. It is Super Bowl weekend. You're welcome. For the boys and everybody in the back, we're out.